I didn't believe the story the first time I heard it. In fact, nobody really does. It sounds like one of those creepy urban legends people whisper about late at night, just to scare each other. But the strange thing about this story is that the people who talk about it never sound like they read joking. They sound unsettled, like they saw something they can't explain. The story always begins the same way, with a train station that technically doesn't exist. Not on maps, not on train schedules, not in any official railway records. Yet every once in a while, the night travelers claim they stumble onto it. The station is always described the same way too. An old platform lit by flickering yellow lights, rusted benches, a cracked clock on the wall that never moves past 11:47 p.m. No staff, no ticket booth, just a long, empty track stretching into darkness. Most people who find the platform assume they took a wrong turn somewhere. Maybe they wandered into an abandoned railway stop. So they sit for a moment, check their phone for directions, and try to figure out where they are. But that's when the first strange thing happens. Their phone shows no signal, no internet, no GPS, nothing. The only sound in the entire place is the faint hum of those flickering lights. And then, after a few minutes of silence, they hear Italiano, a train, approaching. At first it's distant, just the faint rumble of metal wheels rolling somewhere far down the track. Then the sound grows louder, closer, closer, until a long black train slowly pulls into the station. Now this is where the story becomes strange, because the train doesn't look normal. The windows are dark. Now here's the part of the story that almost nobody knows, because most people who talk about the train only describe the moment they realize they were traveling backward through time. But one man, a man named Daniel, told the rest of the story, and what he experienced on that train was far worse than anyone expected. Daniel said the moment the train started moving backward through time, the first thing he felt wasn't fear. It was confusion. The city outside the windows looked familiar, but wrong. Cars rolled backward along highways. Pedestrians walked in reverse, like broken film footage. Streetlights flickered in patterns that made no sense, and Daniel quickly realized something strange. The further the train traveled backward in time, the younger everything looked. New buildings slowly turned into construction sites. Construction sites turned into empty land. Billboards changed advertisements. Technology disappeared. Phones became flip phones. Flip phones became payphones. And Daniel noticed something else. The train never slowed down, not once. It just kept moving further and further back. And then Daniel made a mistake that would haunt him forever. He decided to look at the other passengers. At first, he only glanced quickly, but that was enough to freeze him in place, because every passenger in the train car was him. Dozens of versions of himself. Different ages. Daniel said the walk toward the last train car felt longer than it should have. Each step echoed in the empty aisle, and every version of himself turned their heads slowly to watch him pass. None of them spoke. None of them tried to stop him, but their expressions all said the same thing. "Don't do this," Daniel said. He felt it too. A growing sense of dread. Like his body already knew something his mind didn't. But by the time he reached the door leading to the final train car, it was too late to turn back. The door looked different from the others. Older, rustier, and unlike the other doors. This one had a small window, but the glass was fogged, completely fogged, like something inside was breathing against it. Daniel hesitated, then slowly reached for the handle. The moment he opened the door, the temperature dropped instantly. The air inside that car felt colder. He stepped inside, and at first, it looked empty, no passengers, just rows of seats. But something about the room felt wrong. Then Daniel noticed the mirrors. Every wall in the last train car was covered in mirrors. Hundreds of reflections staring back at him. At first he only saw himself, but after a few seconds, the reflections began to change. One by one, each mirror started showing a different moment from his life. A fight with a friend. A decision he regretted. A moment, Daniel said, he doesn't remember how the train ride ended. One moment, he was staring at that mirror, showing his future. The next moment, he woke up, sitting on a bench, at a completely normal train station. Morning sunlight, people walking around, trains arriving and leaving. Everything looked perfectly normal, except for one thing. The clock above the platform still read 11:47 p.m. Daniel thought maybe he had fallen asleep. Maybe the whole thing was a dream. But when he stood up and checked his phone, he realized something that made his stomach drop. The date had changed. Not by hours. Not by days. By 3 years. 3 entire years of his life had disappeared. His family had reported him missing. His job had replaced him. His apartment had been rented to someone else. To the world, Daniel had simply vanished. But that wasn't the worst part. Because Daniel said the train never really left. Sometimes late at night, he hears the distant rumble of wheels on tracks, even when there are no train lines nearby. Sometimes when he looks in mirrors, he sees reflections of himself sitting in train seats behind him. And sometimes, when clocks freeze for a split second at 11:47 p.m., he swears he can see a dark train passing silently in the reflection of the glass. Still moving, still searching, still waiting for its next passenger. So if you ever find yourself at a train platform that isn't on any map, and the clock says 11:47 p.m., and a black train slowly pulls into the station, whatever you do, don't get on, because the train that never arrives